Brenda, we know that the world has changed from when I was trained, and perhaps even from when you were trained, that clearly evidence-based practices are a major focus of what we do. How do your clinicians integrate evidence-based practices into their overall sort of gestalt of what they're doing with the family?
We, of course, have a lot of trauma. So we do a lot of trauma-focused CBT. Mm-hmm. But that we do in our clinic. We have a playroom and we have a clinic setting that we can use when that's needed. Good. And we do a lot of motivational interviewing. That's just a style that we have to adopt. So we are really trying to pull those practices in and provide some actual brief evidence-based treatments to kids who have acute problems that they need to cope and learn and move through. So we do acute treatment, but we also do systems of care treatment.
Okay. Can you just give us a sense of which children and families are eligible for Families Plus?
We think that we have something really important to provide to families who have very low resources and very high demands.
Sure.
And to make that more concrete, we have a list of criteria we use when we're evaluating families who want to join our program. And we first look that the children have some level of behavioral health need, and we look to see if the family already has a extended family and a good support system. They don't really need us. We look for families, often single-parent families without much, healthy support, and we look for families that are in very big poverty, because the pressures and demands of that personal situation overwhelms the parents, and they're not able to provide. So we look for that. We look for parents who have their own physical or health problems. I have parents who have seizures, or parents that have major depression that doesn't remit, parents that have their own health problems that really compromise their ability to provide everything that is needed. That kind of family, we look for families, or they look for us, grandparents who all of a sudden wake up one morning and they have 3 children to raise and are very overwhelmed. And they look for us. It's like, oh, please help me. I don't know that I can really do this again. Those families come in. And we also have a number of families who have children with early chronic mental health conditions, where the family has plenty of resources, but they don't have resources to deal with something like that, and they need help over a long period of time to guide their children to health. Yeah.
My experience with those types of families is they often bounce from referral to referral to referral to referral as these kids get older and older, never really getting any help. So it sounds like it's almost they can come in and have a really wide view of their overall problems and concerns and be able to move forward with you. That's pretty neat stuff. Brenda, I've trained wraparound for 30 years, more frequent flyer miles than anyone you've ever met.
But including training me in Montana many years ago.
Okay, a long time ago, right, when we were kids.
Yeah.
Right? But the reality is that I've been all over the country, all over the world, training wraparound, and I've never seen where a program like yours integrated mentors in the way you do. Let's talk about those mentors a little bit. Could you tell me sort of how the mentors work and how they fit into the whole program?
Mentors in our program are very specialized. We are most excited about our mentors because our mentors are mentoring families. They're not usually a single person.
Right.
They're a family that has several of their own children in the home, or they're an empty nest couple that has children, but their children are not in the home. They're families. And we think this is the most powerful thing we have to offer kids. The children, one child is invited regularly into the mentoring family. We want them to just go there and hang out and be comfortable and feel free to go get a glass of milk out of the refrigerator. We we want the child to feel like they are part of the family. We just love it when the family has a family reunion and everybody comes home and the mentored child is right in the middle of all that, seeing the connections of family. And we think that's powerful because the children, without anybody giving them a lesson or making any effort, they learn. They model conflict resolution. They model routine. They model chores. They model everything they see this family doing. And it's a little blueprint in their head that they will always have to take forward with them. They learn self-sufficiency. They learn to be responsible and take accountability. They learn all those things just by being present as all that's going on around them. So it's really a powerful influence on these children.
And I one of the things that we know from human services is services are often very time limited and brief. But it sounds like mentors can maintain a long-term relationship with these kids and with these families.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
We're trying to form permanent relationships, and we are.
Wow.
When we started out, I was sort of hesitant to say to the signing up mentoring family, well, we want you to just really commit for life. But then I realized as we were a couple, 2-3 years into it, people who care about kids and want to get involved with kids, they don't want you to say, okay, time's up, you're gone. It's just what they want to do. They do want relationships that last, and these, by and large, last. And so relationships are strong, and the kids feel important to their mentoring families, and they are. And the mentoring families are somewhat like the canary in the coal mine, because these mentoring families are very tuned into these kids, and if something is really wrong, oftentimes they're the first one to notice something's wrong. They call the behavioral health professional and say, they're not right, what's wrong? They really know when the kids are in trouble.
How do the clinicians interact with the mentoring or the mentoring families?
They are expected to have several contacts a month to support them and to help them negotiate and maneuver things and help them. There's a real cultural difference. We have children from poverty. We have middle and upper middle class families. They don't always understand what the kids talk about and what's going on. So the therapists support them.
You told me a while back that you really prefer that the mentors, they know the family, but they're not really working with the family. They're really working more with the child. Why is that?
Well, partly it's for the parents. They just need a break. They need their child to be somewhere else sometimes where they don't have to worry about them one little bit. So it's to just give the parents a break. And then it also helps the mentoring families, because if they get involved in the other children in the family and the challenges of the family, it wears them out. It's just too much for them. If they can put all their energy into one child and their little stumbles that they have going on, focus there, that's what we try to get them to do. And we ask them to call the behavioral health professional if they think there's a problem needing addressing, and let the program address it, not them. It's not that we want to ignore things. It's just they are so precious and they're just so important that we don't want to wear them out.
Are you able to get enough mentors?
We find people really interested in mentoring. We do. And, I just talked with someone at the bank, small community, who was going to meet their mentor child on Saturday, who was so excited they almost couldn't sit in their chair.
That's so neat,
Because children are wonderful, and these children are as wonderful or more than anybody else's children, and they are really enjoyed by their mentoring families.
I noticed when we were talking a while back about outcome data that overall over the last decade you've really been able to find mentors in adequate numbers.
We can find mentors, Sometimes our program gets overwhelmed with demands and doesn't get out there and look, but if we're out there looking, we can find mentors.
Wow. And that's so nice about a rural area, being able to think that way. But my heart says big cities, you could do that too with the right approach.
I think you could.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
you could, because I think it's the appeal of children.